What's going on, YouTube? Dre knows, back at it again, bringing you guys another video. So back at it here on Madden, doing something a little bit different now that I'm done with my budget series. I enjoyed making that. If you guys did enjoy that, first and foremost, smack the like button on all those videos, man. I enjoyed doing that for you guys because it looked like it helped quite a bit of you guys out, especially some of the newer guys that were getting into Madden. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Those videos are all in a playlist. If you guys aren't aware, you can find it on my channel as well. So go ahead and take a look at it if you haven't. But for today's video, just wanted to do kind of like an add-on to that. So now, you guys have a good idea as far as who are good budget players. But now to add on top of that, I'm sure some of you are curious, what abilities should I run? And this is actually a question I get this is actually a question that I get asked quite a bit whenever I'm playing in the middle of like a live stream, or even sometimes I get DM'd asking, what ability should I run? So for today's video, we're going to be going over abilities for in this case, how it would break down. It's going to be for this video today. We're going to be doing quarterbacks, and we'll be going over the skill positions, and then we'll go over the defensive abilities as well. So obviously, I want to break down the quarterback ones exclusively, just because I feel like QB abilities are so important in Madden nowadays. It could really kind of make or break, your whatever you're doing, whether it be with like weekend league or head-to-head, whatever the case may be. I feel like it's important to really make sure you have the right abilities on your quarterback. So let's go ahead, jump into who what I think are like the best abilities for quarterbacks. All right, guys, so I have this website here pulled up. This is actually courtesy of Madden School, so shout out Madden School. This is actually a really good website to use, especially if you just want like more informational stuff and things of that nature. And I think they put out ebooks too. So shout out to Madden School for making all this information pretty accessible. I know they've been around for a few years now, so again, shout out to them. So they have listed off all the quarterback abilities. Now I will say this, a lot of the abilities that you get for your quarterbacks depend on what type of archetype, that your quarterback gets. So and this is mainly more focused on MUT. I know with regs, it's a little bit different as well. They still get archetypes, but I know with regs, I don't know. I don't play a whole lot of regs, to be honest with you. So, and the main reason why is just because, if I wanted like a specific ability, I don't want to be like handcuffed to like a specific team. Whereas with MUT, you get a little bit more flexibility in that case. So let's take a look at these abilities here. I'm just looking through here. Lofting Deadeye, I'll be honest, I don't like. I'll be perfectly honest with you guys. So like lofting Deadeye, inside Deadeye, roaming Deadeye, like basically any of the Deadeye abilities. You would think that the abilities are helpful for hitting throws, like depending on if you want to go outside pass lead, inside pass lead, whatever the case may be. But if you guys have been watching the Madden Club Championships that have been going on recently, there was actually one of the players, Stiff, who was the Chicago Bears rep. He was actually playing the Vikings in the NFC North side of things, and he actually kind of got cheated while he was playing in his, I believe it was like round of 16 matchup or something like that. He got cheated like really bad, and he actually put on Twitter that he had dead eyes and was still missing throws for whatever reason. So because of that, I wouldn't recommend using any of the dead eyes. I think it's just so hit or miss. It's just so inconsistent to really tell, if it really is gonna work. So I haven't used it per se. You might want to give it a test drive. I'm just going based off of what the community's saying. So just looking through the rest of the way here. Gutsy Scrambler, I don't really use that much, to be perfectly honest with you, but it helps whenever you are playing against guys who are for example, like they're using like D-line abilities like under pressure and things like that. But I feel like even with that, that's so hit or miss as well. And I think Gutsy Scrambler is quite a bit of AP. Oh, it's not too bad. It's only 2 AP. But see, as you guys can see, depending on the archetype, so you can only be a scrambler or an improviser to get the specific ability. Not every quarterback gets that specific ability, so that's interesting. Anchored Extender, this was actually not too bad last year, back whenever 146 was actually ridiculous in Madden 20. So basically with this ability, if you're noticing that your opponent is a heavy blitzer or if there is ever that meta shift where we just go ahead and send 8 like we used to back in the day. I pray that doesn't happen, but this might be an ability worth looking at, just because it says here it's when you're in the pocket, you're almost guaranteed to break the first sack attempt by the blitzing defensive back. So for example, like if anyone's running dollar or 146, this might be a good ability for you. I don't really see those defenses run too much, although I'll be honest, I actually do run that in my defense, and I've actually played someone who actually had this ability, and nothing is more frustrating than screaming at someone and it looks like you're gonna sack them in the backfield, and then they just take off because they break the tackle. So this is low-key kind of underrated, and the nice thing about that is that the ability point is only 1. So if you're just looking to throw something out there and you're just not sure what else to go with, that may be something worth considering. Now, this ability right here is kind of a hot topic for a lot of people, escape artists. So escape artists last year really in Madden 20 really kind of changed the game, just because of how crazy fast you can get out the pocket, and basically kind of what the meta was, especially towards the end of the year. And it was so annoying. Basically just escape artists roll out, corner out, and just suck in the zone and throw the corner out over the flats. It was so frustrating trying to play against that, but I'll be honest, I feel like escape artist is definitely not needed this year, just because it's not nearly as powerful as it was the year before. So still a good option though, like especially if you're running like a Vic. I mean, I think really if you're gonna run Vic, you'd be silly to run Vic without escape artist. The only downside to this is the fact that, you know, your quarterback does get tired pretty quickly, so it's not something you can just continuously spam over and over and over again. So, you know, maybe something worth looking at. The only problem also, depending on the quarterback that you have, it does kind of add up in ability points, which, you know, you only get 12 unless if they change it here, you know, in the near future. But, you know, anywhere between 3 to 4, that's that's kind of hefty as far as like of a price to pay for, you know, what you know, for your abilities. I know for me, I like to kind of spread everything out in terms of abilities, so that's just me. Everyone's a little bit different. Let's see what else. Fearless, I mean, it's kind of the same thing for like under pressure. Protected, I've never really ran. Now for me, for the type of offense I run, I feel like Hot Route Master is an absolute must. Basically, it gives you more routes that you can put on anyone, not necessarily just like a specific receiver. You can put on your tight ends, your running backs, wide receivers, whatever. I feel like Hot Route Master, at least for like the type of offense that I run, I feel like Hot Route Master is a must. And obviously the quarterback that kind of comes to mind is Rich Gannon. Like, he's the one that I've been running, and a lot of people have been running that Rich Gannon, although I'll be honest, he is getting kind of long in the tooth. You know, a lot of people are starting to get a little bit tired of him, so still something worth looking for though. I mean, I know for me, Hot Route Master is a must. I actually just played a whole entire weekend league without it, and I just, don't get me wrong, my offense was still good, but I miss that Hot Route Master and having the ability to put like other abilities on like wide receivers and tight ends and things like that. So, but I know for me, I think Hot Route Master is a must. Another one that's actually interesting is Conductor. So basically what this allows you to do is it allows you to audible a little bit quicker. So if you guys notice, like when you try to audible, I think you'll be able to get the first one in, but then anything after that, it's a little bit slow to register. Whereas with Conductor, you're able to you know, audible a little bit quicker, and maybe even potentially catch your opponent on a quick hike if that's something that you want to do, if you want to quick snap a play. But I don't really find myself using that much, really. And now the ability that I think is absolutely necessary, regardless of what quarterback you run, is Gunslinger. Gunslinger, I've kind of preached this in previous videos. Gunslinger, it's just something that you need, because if you have a quarterback without Gunslinger, you're going to have a hard time passing the ball with whether it be you're on current gen, you know, if you're playing against that man-to-man meta, or if you're on, you know, next gen, where, you know, some zones for whatever reason, they just, I don't know, they just react crazy to the ball. So, you know, the last thing you want is to throw ducks really with you know, with your quarterbacks. And I noticed a big change in my offense. The only problem is it does kind of vary. So if you have a strong arm quarterback, then that's probably the best quarterback that should have it, because it only costs you 1 AP, whereas looks like with the other ones, although I'm not gonna lie, I think these points are a little bit outdated, to be honest with you. Looks like yeah, it might be, because I think strong arm is too, but even still, like, I think that's well worth it, really, in my opinion, if you can get Gunslinger for that low. And then just looking through the rest of the way, set feet lead is an alternative to gunslinger, but I'll be honest, like I think there's plenty of options at quarterback now that get gunslinger that you shouldn't even really consider it on, in my opinion. Pass lead elite I've never used, but I think it's kind of high up there in terms of AP points. And again, I don't like those, you know, those pass lead abilities. Gift wrapped I've never used. Tight out is interesting if you're someone that likes to pass to your tight ends, but I don't find myself using that. And then really anything outside of this, I mean, I've never understood why we have. I mean, quick draw was good at the beginning of the year, but it's not nearly as good. And then clutch, homer, indoor baller, closer, comeback, like you shouldn't be running those abilities at all. So that's just my thoughts as far as, you know, what abilities I think are good. The biggest must, in my opinion, is gunslinger at the minimum, and then from there it's kind of up to you what you want to kind of cook up from there. So with that being said though, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, starting like a little mini series here just to kind of help out, you know, the guys that I've been helping out with the budget series as well, just to kind of give them an idea as far as, you know, how they should construct their team. Now, obviously, everyone's play style is a little bit different, so just take that into consideration as well. If you have any other thoughts on some of the abilities that I didn't mention or that I didn't really go into detail, drop a comment down below. Let me know your experience. I'd love to hear it. And then if you guys are looking forward to more of this type of content, consider subscribing to the channel. And until the next one, guys, this is Dre Knows, and I'm signing out. Peace.